Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us today in the study of Srimadbhagavatam. Today we'll be covering Srimadbhagavatam 10th Canto, Chapter 85, Lord Kṛṣṇa Instructs Vasudeva. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha So let's do Mangalachar prayers together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirye Sharatam Swar Katha Kṛṣṇa Punya Shramana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhatsatam Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bharti Neshtiki. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please join us in the recitation of the first few verses of Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 85, Lord Kṛṣṇa Instructs Vasudeva. Verse 1. Srimadbhagavatam Ate kadatmajo prapto Krita bivandana Vasudevo bhinandyaha Pritya sankarshanachuto. Please. Shri Bhadrayani Ruvacha Ate kadatmajo prapto Kitapada bhivandana Vasudevo abhinandya Pritya sankarshanachuto. Shri Bhadrayani Ruvacha. Shri Bhadrayani Shukdev Goswami said. Atha. Then. Ekada. One day. Atmaja. His two sons. Prapto. Came to him. Krita. Having done. Pada. Of his feet. Abhivandana. Honoring. Vasudeva. Vasudev. Abhinandya. Greeting them. Aha. Said. Pritya. Affectionately. Sankarshana Achyuto. To Lord Balaram and Lord Kṛṣna. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shri Bhadrayani said, one day the two sons of Vasudeva, Sankarshan and Achyuta, came to pay him respects, bowing down at his feet. Vasudeva greeted them with great affection and spoke to them. There is no purpose, we'll cover next two verses. Verse 2. Having heard the great sage's words concerning the power of his two sons and having seen their valorous deeds, Vasudeva became convinced of their divinity. Thus addressing them by name, he spoke to them as follows. Verse 3. Vasudeva said, O Kṛṣna, Kṛṣna, best of yogis, O eternal Sankarshan, I know that you two are personally the source of universal creation and the ingredients of creation as well. Purport. As taught in the Sankhya doctrine of Lord Kapildev, Pradhan is the creative energy of the Purusha, the Supreme Person. Thus, of these two principles, the Pradhan is the predominated energy, female, incapable of independent action, while the Purusha is the absolutely independent, primeval creator and enjoyer. Neither Krishna nor his brother Balram belong to the category of subordinate energy. Rather, both of them together are the original Purusha, who is always joined by his manifold potencies of pleasure, knowledge, and creative emanation. Hare Krishna. Please join us in reciting together Guru Pranati for Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum dinataranam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna. So in the previous chapter, the sages' teachings at Kurukshetra, headed by Devashi Narad, they had revealed to Vasudeva that Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, they are none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now this is also very interesting, that they are referred to as Supreme Personality, like one person, because all Vishnu Tattvas are one and the same, yet at the same time because of their different pastimes. Yet to our eyes, they are different personalities, right? Because of their leelas, the name, form, activities, pastimes differ, even though they are all Vishnu Tattvas. Yet at the same time, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, from whom first expansion is Lord Balaram, and from Balaram comes this Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarsha, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And these are the four personalities who are present in Dwarka. Yet together they are called the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they are non-different while their activities are different. So today in this chapter we hear as how Lord Krishna fulfills the desires of his devotees. And this is where Vasudeva, his father, he has a desire. But the chapter starts with a very beautiful pastime. So this is actually setting us that in the Vedic culture, every morning, the children, they would go and they pay obeisances to their parents. So such an exalted culture ours has been filled with so much respect, so much loving exchanges, so much expressing gratitude that, our parents are like Bhagwan, right, for us, because they take care of us, just like Lord takes care of us. So similarly, they are representative of Lordship himself, as in the form of our parents. Just like we say, spiritual master is a representative of God, and the parents are our first gurus, first spiritual masters. The Shastras clearly describe it, that our parents, our father and mother, they are our first spiritual masters. Now, when we look at them, we should always look at them with, respect, and realizing that they are, our spiritual masters. We should bow down and seek their blessing. And just by getting the blessings of parents, children can do amazing things. People can't even imagine what feats they can achieve. So it is for our improvement, our benefit, that we should touch their feet every morning when we see them. And we should greet them with love, with sweet voice, in a manner so that they feel like embracing us. And those who are parents, again, for us, it is very much, our responsibility to encourage the children to follow the Vedic principles. So it's not that we are asking the children to, touch our feet. Rather, we have to show by example when we meet our parents how lovingly we greet them, how respectfully we talk with them, and how lovingly and affectionately we inquire from them about their welfare. So children should see this. Every day we should make an attempt to, if we are not in the same household, we should call them, inquire about their welfare, how are they doing, how things are going, and so forth. And if they need anything, and how we can help them in any manner. So that is the responsibility of children, to greet their parents and seek their welfare, while parents, they seek the welfare of children. So it's a very nice collaborative arrangement. And this arrangement has been done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he himself is showing, by his own example, that he has accepted a devotee of his, Vasudeva and Devakī. They are none other than expansions of Kashyapa Muni and Aditi. Right? And earlier they were also as Atri and Anasuya, so we know that. Right? Prashni, so again Lord appears as Prashni Bhuri, so that's another expansion where Lord is showing that he appears again and again as son of these great personalities. So they are his eternal parents, he is stating in this particular chapter, because of the loving exchange they have with him. So also the parents have this responsibility. And since the parents are the first spiritual masters, it is also very important for us to understand how it is going to benefit us if we have the right mindset as role models for our children. So there is a beautiful story that comes in where, there was a very nice monastery, like a temple, where there were various priests. They were residing, and these priests were very aged. And since they were so much busy in their old age doing various devotional services, so they had gone a little grumpy. And what had happened was that this temple had almost become like vacant. Only these 4 priests and the main head of the temple, they were there. And so once it just so happened that the head of the temple, his friend visits the town close by. So he goes to meet his friend, and he goes to his friend who was also running a couple of other temples. So he says, our temple is just reducing in, the congregation is there, but, the residents are leaving. They are not very much encouraged to stay. And all these priests, they are really, aged priests, and they, are very much busy, and they don't have so much of interaction. They are trying their best to somehow sustain the temple, yet at the same time we are feeling some difficulties. And especially in the COVID-19 time, we see the temples are facing difficulties. So as part of various temples, it's our responsibility to support our temple. So in this particular case, it was a different scenario, not COVID-19, as we can understand, because it was that no new people were joining the temple. The residents were just these 4 elderly priests and then the head. And they were trying to do the best they can. But, being elderly sometimes, trying to do so much hard work, individually, they were a little grumpy by nature. So this friend of his, he asked about his welfare, and they have nice discussion. And as the head was leaving to go back to the temple, his friend calls him from the back and he says, what, I want to tell you one thing. And so the head says, what? He says, there is one of your priests that you have is actually a Shaktavesh, is an empowered personality. He's empowered, incarnation. So he's empowered by the Lordship. And when he hears, he's surprised that he didn't know that. So he is curious to find this out. Who is this personality? So when he goes back, the head calls all the 4 priests and he says, I want to share something. I met my dear friend and he revealed to me a secret. And what's the secret? That one of you is an empowered personality, like Shaktavesh, empowered living entity who's empowered to preach and to carry out Lord's mission. So when 4 priests, all of them, they hear this, they are surprised too. So now, the first priest, when he goes to his quarters, he's thinking, I think the second priest, he's so wonderful. He cooks so nicely for the Lordships. He puts his heart when he's cooking. Sometimes he doesn't even pay attention what's going around. So he's so focused, and then the other, he could be an empowered personality, or it could be the third priest who really takes care of cleaning everything and making sure that everything is nicely arranged and laid out. Or maybe it could be the fourth one who goes out for book distribution and sankirtan, congregational chanting in the town, corners of the town, going through the streets. So it could be them. And then he's surprised. But what if it's me? As I am worshipping the deities and I'm taking care of the deities, what if it's me? So I have to really, be very respectful to my, other associates, the other priests, because any of them could be empowered. And if it's me, I have to really be the role model. Similarly, the second priest was thinking, what if the first priest is the empowered incarnation? What if he is the one because he's the one who's taking care of deities so nicely, so wonderfully? Or what if it is the one who is cleaning the whole temple and taking care of all the menial services so wonderfully? Or what if it is the fourth one who's going out to the town on, Nagar Sankirtan, on the congregational chanting of the holy name and book distribution? And what if, God forbid, what if it's me who is the one, because I cook for the Lordship, and what if I'm the one empowered, so I have to really keep up my standard? So as each one of them thinking in this manner, the behavior changed. Nothing else changed, the behavior changed. What had changed was when they saw each other, they would smile at each other. They would come close to each other and have loving exchanges by inquiring, very nicely, thinking that what if this personality I'm interacting with is the empowered incarnation of the Lordship? So they were interacting with this mode. That what if this personality, and what if I'm the one? Then I have to keep up with that particular role model. I have to keep my behavior very loving and very smiling. So suddenly the head saw that all these four priests who were serving at the temple, the residents, they suddenly were very jubilant, very happy, very smiling, and very lovingly they would continue to have various discourses during the day. They would chant and they would do kirtan together. They would help in each other's activities. And that was a very amazing transformation, so much so that when there were some young people, they were coming on Sunday feast and on the weekends, or as well as on weekdays in the evenings, they saw that this is such a nice temple. All the priests have such a wonderful, loving, relationships here with each other. They really respect each other so highly, and they refer to each other as Prabhus. Prabhus means master. Srila Prabhupada said that if you think that, if somebody calls you Prabhu and you think that you are their master, then you're finished. So again, we call other personality as Prabhu. Yet at the same time, when somebody calls us Prabhu, we still take it with this, that they are respecting the super soul in our heart, yet we are always humble as Das. That's why the name is generally followed by Das. When you are initiated initially, and Brahmanas have, unless you become a sannyasi where it becomes Goswami, otherwise we are Godas. Slaves or servants of the senses. Go means senses, Das means servant. And Goswami means master of the senses. So here, as these loving exchanges people saw, suddenly many people started visiting the temple. They started attending the discourses, and big Kirtaniya events were happening. And then the temple suddenly flourished with many newcomers joining in and encouraging and letting it prosper. So it is our loving exchange, the way we treat each other. It is very important. Devotee association. That's why devotee association is the number one aspect of the 5 most potent forms of devotional services. Devotee association is called the first and foremost, just because of this effect. That when we meet, so what are the other 4? First is, of course, devotee association. Second one is reading Srimadbhagavatam. Third one is worshipping deity. Srimadbhagavatam is not different from Kṛṣna. So the third one is worshipping deity. Fourth one is staying at dham. So if you have deities in an altar set up in your home, then your home is a dham. If you have Srimadbhagavatam at your home, not different from Lord Krishna, it is a dham. So residing at dham. And fifth is chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So there is a lot of power in our association, if we have the right association. So if you want to become a mountaineer, you have the company of mountaineers, so that you stay with them, you understand their lifestyle, so that you grow together. If you are a bicyclist, if you go on long cycle drives, cycling, then you have friends who are bicyclists. If you are in army, you are with army men. Why? Because that association matters. It encourages everyone. And there is a common saying, birds of same feather fly together. So people have this tendency. When we see someone having same mindset, same likings, then we are easily able to connect. And I'll give you a very simple example. If you're traveling and suddenly you meet someone who's from your town, you may not have met this person before in your life, but just because the person happens to be from the same town as you are, same place as you are, village, town or city, wherever you are from, just because the person happens to be from that place, you automatically have this connection. And that's how you relate to it. And the same thing is true otherwise also. So again, if you see there is another Indian, in a foreign country, and you are an Indian, then you automatically, greet them. If you are a European and you see someone from your country, then you greet them. If you are an American, you see another American, on your travels, you smile and greet them very nicely, and you inquire from them about their welfare and how they are. And sometimes when you are introducing yourself, suddenly people say, "Oh, I'm from that town," and they immediately connect. You know that as soon as this discussion that everyone's getting introduced is over, you're going to go and talk with them. So that is a human tendency to associate with like-minded people. And here that has been identified as how devotees, they associate with other devotees. Because in the association of devotees, amazing things happen. And we feel complete bliss, right? Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Lord Krishna says that my devotees, they converse with each other and they discuss about me. And so they derive great satisfaction and transcendental bliss conversing about me, constantly meditating on me, constantly discussing subject matters related to me. So that is the mood of a devotee, to constantly discuss the pastimes of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, in this particular chapter, there is an amazing blessing I wanted to cover before I get started with the chapter. So the blessing is in the last verse of this chapter. Shri Shuta Goswami, he is stating that this pastime enacted by Lord Murari is the killer of Mura demon, or the enemy of Mura demon, whose fame is eternal, totally destroys the sins of the universe and serves as the transcendental ornament for his devotees' ears. So Lord's glories, when we hear, these are our ornaments for the ears, for the devotees. Anyone who carefully hears, so if you are hearing, carefully hear this blessing also, so that you can focus on this pastime. It's a very beautiful pastime. Anyone who carefully hears or narrates this pastime, as recounted by the venerable son of Vyas, will be able to fix his mind in meditation on the Supreme Lord and attain to the all-auspicious kingdom of God. Now, in the purport, Srila Sridhar Swami, he further gives more clarification on this blessing. He is saying that not only those who were present at the time of their occurrence, but also Shukdev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, and all other who have heard since, and everyone in the universe who will hear in the future. So we are in the future, so we are hearing about this pastime. All are blessed by the continuous recital of Lord Krishna's transcendental glories. So this is a great blessing that Lord himself would bless us with the recitation of transcendental glories. And we talked about this, that Smaran Leela. So again, thinking of Lord's pastime is the topmost meditation. Mayeva Manadatsva. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is revealing that constantly meditating on my name form activities pastime. So that topmost blessing we receive in this chapter. And of course, Lord is pure, His name is pure. So when we are constantly meditating on His name, form, activity, pastimes, we become pure. So here, in the very first verse, Vasudeva is going to talk to his sons, Lord Sankarshan and Lord Achyuta. Achyuta is another name for Lord Vasudeva. Vasudeva is another name for Lord Krishna. Vasudeva means son of Vasudeva. So understand the subtle difference. Lord Vasudeva is son of Vasudeva. Vasudeva and Devakī. So when Vasudeva and Devakī, they were there, Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan, they came and they paid obeisances, putting their head at the feet of their parents, paying them respects, very smiling in a very loving manner. And at that time, Lord Vasudeva, he, responds very nicely with his sons, and he had already heard at Kurukshetra. So we covered this pastime in last 3 chapters, where at Kurukshetra, Vasudeva, when they had gone along with all the Yadavas, Kurus and the inhabitants of Vrindavan, there was a great sacrifice was performed by the great sages, headed by Devashi Narad. And Devashi Narad had revealed a great secret to Vasudeva. He was aware of it, but because of the Yogamaya potency, Lord had covered him so that he would not remember that Lord Vasudeva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vasudeva, hearing this from Devashi Narad that Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was stunned because he knew that, yet at the same time, because of his fatherly mood, Yogamaya would cover him and he would think of Lord Krishna as his helpless son when he was born. So here, beautiful pastime is given where Vasudeva and Devakī, when they see Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan, Vasudeva starts glorifying Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, when he hears this glorification, it is very nice that he has his hand like hanging down. Why? Because he doesn't want his father to have this feeling of awe and reverence. That is the mood in Vaikuntha planet. Dwarka is much higher. And Yogamaya effect causes the devotees to forget that Lord Krishna, Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan, they are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there, that is not desirable. In the Vaikuntha planets, where Lord appears in his Vishnu form, there all the devotees are in awe and reverence, worshipping and constantly serving the Lordships, knowing that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in Dwarka, Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, they are present, but they don't want this to be the reciprocation in awe and reverence. They want to have loving exchanges. So it is, what's the difference? When you are at work, you behave differently and your relationship with your co-worker is different compared to when you are at home. When you are at home, your association, your exchanges, your relationship with your family member is much more sweeter, much more intimate, and much more, you are easily opening yourself to be vulnerable. So you are allowing them to really know not just your qualities, but also your weaknesses. You accept that, you surrender to them, and they surrender to you. So it leads to a very nice, loving relationship here. While at work, it's more of a boss and an employee. So that is the kind of relationship you have. Or a co-worker and a co-worker. So that's another way. Or you could have working in the same office, yet at the same time just hello, hi. So that's a complete different environment. So this environment of office is just like Vaikuntha, where Lord is present in his Vishnu incarnations. So there are millions of Lord Vishnu incarnations, and each of these incarnations, is 4-arm form. Again, in spiritual planets, there is another spiritual planet for Lord Narasimha, Lord Varahadev, Lord Ramchandra, and so forth, various incarnations of the Lordship. So here, in awe and reverence, everyone is serving that he is the Supreme Master of all the universe, Lord Vishnu. While here in Dwarka, Lord Krishna doesn't want that awe and reverence. So he has his head hanging down, thinking that what is going on? I have made so much effort with the help of Yogamaya potency. I am trying to have my parents forget that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet at the same time now these sages, they have revealed to him. And whatever Vasudeva says is actually what he had heard from Devashi Narad. So here Lord Kṛṣna is discussing in the very first verse in the purport, Sridhar Swami is describing in the purport of the third verse basically, that Vasudeva is calling Lord Kṛṣna and Lord Balaram as Purusha and Pradhan. Purusha is Swarat, so he is independent, while Pradhan is a female, the internal potency of the Lord. So Pradhan is constantly dependent on Purusha. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karanam. In Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma, he is praying that, oh Lord Krishna, he is also known as Govinda, right? The one who gives pleasure to the senses and also pleasure to the cows. So here, that Lord Govinda is the cause of all causes. So here, for Pradhan, the cause is Purusha. So Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram, they are the original Purusha. So again, Lord Krishna is the original Purusha. His first expansion is Lord Balaram. And from Balaram, the expansions are Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So these are the four personalities who are present in Dwarka. And Dwarka is much higher, at a higher realm than the Vaikuntha Lokas, where Lord Vishnu resides. And all the devotees are worshipping him with awe and reverence. So knowing that his father is just speaking what he heard, Lord Krishna knows that at least the effect of Yogamaya is there. Because he doesn't have a realization that we are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is building up some conviction. Right? Yet at the same time he is calling out things as he heard. So he is just calling it out. So there he is able to understand that his father hasn't really grasped all the technical aspects, because technical aspects they look good at work, right? Analytical study, how to manage. But at home, it's more about loving exchanges. And as a father and a son, he wants to have this loving exchanges, because anand bhaya abhyasat. So that pleasure giving potency that we living entities have actually comes from Lord Krishna. So we are qualitatively one, quantitatively different. So qualitatively one, so of course Lord also, he is Atmaram, he is fully satisfied. Yet at the same time, he wants to at the same time have loving, he wants to enjoy the pleasure in this relationship. 75 years of Harvard Business School study, the longest research that they have conducted on one topic. What's the topic? Happiness. What makes one happy? And they have come after 75 years to this conclusion that happiness is derived from relationship. It is not derived from wealth. It is not derived from what you possess. It is not derived from how famous you are, or how important you are, or how wealthy you are, or how beautiful you are. It is not derived by any of these factors. It is derived by the loving relationships you have with your family members. So it is very important for us to understand that to be happy, we need to have very loving relationship with all around us. And when we reciprocate very nicely with gratitude, with respect, with sweetness, with affection, with everyone that we deal with, then of course they reciprocate. So this is another thing. There is a very common saying, smile because it's contagious, right? So when you see someone and you smile, automatically you see that the person smiles back. So just a small action of smiling and looking at someone in an appreciative way enables the positivity to expand and make this whole world wonderful, right? It is a wonderful world, provided we see it from the spiritual eyes, provided we see as Lord Krishna says, Surhidam Sarva Bhutanam. So he is the well-wisher, he is the benefactor of all living entities. So devotee is also in this manner, is equipoised and treats even his enemies as his friends. He never considers his enemies as his enemies. Rather, of course, there is a dealing, yet at the same time, he understands that they are just in forgetfulness of this relationship. But because they are not behaving right, doesn't mean that we should change our behavior. The tit for tat is a very materialistic way. And sometimes people even put the loving exchanges in that category also. There's a beautiful story of a tiger and a bear that's given in the Shastras from Ramayana, where this man, he was being chased by a tiger and he climbs a tree. So the tiger, he is at the trunk and he is looking at, and he sees that there is also a bear sleeping on this tree. So he, calls out to the bear and says, "Why don't you push this man so I can eat him? Because I'm hungry." The bear says, "Well, he has come to my tree, he has taken my shelter, and I'm not going to, push him so that you can eat him. I'm going to actually protect him." So the tiger is saying that this is the attitude of the bear, and he's sleeping on the branch, so he tells the man, "See, I'm hungry. It doesn't matter whether I eat you or I eat the bear. So why don't you just push the bear? So I'll eat him and then you can walk free." So the man goes and he pushes the bear. Now it just so happens that the bear is able to catch another branch and, save himself. Now the tiger goes to the bear and says, "See, did you see what this man did? This man tried to push you to save himself. So now you should push him." The bear told him very clearly that that is his nature, not my nature. My nature is to give shelter to anyone who comes at my place and to have this, loving, exchange with anyone I meet. So why should I give up my nature? So this is where the bear is setting an example. So again, this is a story that Mother Sita tells Hanuman. When Hanumanji, he wanted to destroy all the demonesses. He wanted to kill all the demonesses at Ashokvatika. So at that time she tells him this, telling him that we should not give up our true nature. Surhidam Sarva Bhutam is the nature of God. And similarly, we living entities are Vidyavana Sampanna. So we are, endowed with this knowledge that every living entity is a devotee of God. Jivera Sarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. So from that mode, we should always be looking at the Lordship as well as all his, part and parcels in the form of living entities. So it is very nicely given here that Pradhan is dependent on Purusha. So everything else as it comes up. So there are 4 elements. Purusha is the topmost, right? And his Supreme Personality of Godhead is independent. Then comes from Purusha Pradhan. So Pradhan is dependent on Purusha. From Pradhan comes Mahat Tattva, also called unmanifested. So from Mahat Tattva comes the 3 modes of material nature. But how? In the form of Prakriti. So the 4th layer is Prakriti. Purusha, Pradhan, Mahat Tattva, Prakriti. And Prakriti has the 3 modes of material nature. So in the mode of goodness, in the mode of ignorance, come all the gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. From the mode of passion come out the senses, right? Eyes, ears. So there are 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses. So again, there's also that distinction. So our eyes to see, so the sense object is sight, to be able to see. Ears, and the sense object is the sound that we are able to hear. Nose, and now the sense object is related to smell, that we are able to smell things with our nose. Tongue is because we are able to taste things and know what is what, different kind of flavors. And then the skin, right, which is related to, various, the touch is the way we understand things. So these are 5 Jnanendriyas, knowledge acquiring senses. And then there are 5 working senses. Now one common sense, which is knowledge acquiring, is also working sense, which is the tongue, which likes to talk, right? So when we talk, we can speak. And only in human beings we have this capability very well to extensively speak. Yes, animals have their talks as well, and they speak in their language, but much limited. And then we have arms, the 2 arms that we work with, the legs we walk with, and you run with, and so. And then we have the sex organs and the anus, which is like discharging organs. So these 5 are the working elements. And finally we have, so again we have the sense objects, we have the 5 working senses, we have the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, we have the 5 gross elements, and from the mode of goodness comes the various deities presiding on all this. Now, I did not talk about, so this is with respect to Prakriti, which is acting as mother, right? And the material nature is where Lord says, Aham Bij Pradapita in Bhagavad Gita. So Lord, He impregnates the Prakriti. So this is where Karano Dakshai Vishnu. Karano means again Karan, ocean. So He, with His sight, He impregnates the material energy so that the living entities, they take this very kind of bodies, 8.4 million kinds of bodies. So Vasudeva is glorifying Lord Krishna that you are the cause of all these living entities. You are the cause of all these luminaries. From you come all the, existence, and all you pervade everything. So everything is in Krishna, yet Krishna is aloof, right? So this is Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Matta Sarvam Pravartate. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna reveals that everything is in me, yet I am not in everything, because it doesn't mean that everything has become Krishna. So this is again defeating the Mayavad philosophy that you merge into Brahman and you become a Brahman. And Rupa Goswami Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is explaining very nicely that we are like the aquatics. So when the river, we are aquatics in the river floating, and when the river merges into the ocean, so that's how, when do the aquatics become water in the ocean? No, they don't. They just go into new waters, and that's what they are doing, what they were doing before. So that's how living entities, when we are going, and in Brahman there is one danger, that there is always a possibility of falling down back in the material world. Brahman is also one of the absolute features of Lord Krishna. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam avyayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdate. So as the transcendentalists know the absolute truth, they realize absolute truth in three forms. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan. Brahman, Paramatma is the super soul in our heart, and then Bhagwan, Lord Krishna, Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are the three. So these are related to the Satchitanand aspect. Brahman is Sat. Sat means eternal. So Brahman is all pervading. Everywhere the Brahman effulgence is pervading. Right? But it is very subtle, so subtle that we cannot see it with our naked eyes. Especially in this material world. When we go to the spiritual world, of course, we have spiritual eyes. And then we can see things, right? So there is a big difference. We have divine spiritual eyes. Then Paramatma. Paramatma is the super soul in our heart. So after many tens of thousands of years of meditation, the yogis are able to see the super soul in the heart. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that for the embodied being, it is very difficult to see the super soul in the heart. And super soul in the heart has two features. Sat, Chit. The eternal aspect. So as well as Chit, which is full of knowledge. So these two are there. But the transcendental bliss is not there in the super soul. Because super soul, even though he's an expansion of Lord Krishna, the purpose is limited. The purpose is limited to be as overseer, permitted, knower, and being a companion, constant companion, because of the affection of Lord Krishna. So that Lord expands into primary portions and portions of primary portions, and all these are Vishnu Tattvas. While we living entities are Jivas, right? Vibhinnamsha. And while they are, all the Vishnu Tattvas are Swamsha. So Vibhinnamsha also means variegated expressions, so part and parcels. Why are living entities called part and parcels? Have you ever wondered? They are called part and parcel. Part refers to the aspect that we are minuscule part of Lord Krishna. Just like gold ring is made from the gold mine. So the gold mine is immense, right? It's big, huge. While a gold ring is made from that gold, and that gold is a small part. Yet at the same time, the word parcel is used. Parcel is used to identify that even though it's a part, it is fully functional. It is fully capable of carrying out the functionality that it is destined to be made of. Another example that can be given is in the case of ocean. Srila Prabhupada gave this example. A drop from the ocean is same in quality, but different in quantity. So if you want to know the quality of the ocean, like what is the constituents, the different chemical ingredients, you can just take a sample out and you can use that sample, little bit of water. But this water is limited in quantity, but same in quality as the ocean water. So there are so many examples given in this manner as how the living entities are part and parcel of Lord Kṛṣna. So here, Lord Kṛṣna himself, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan. And in that form, the Absolute Truth is recognized with all the three features. Sat Chit Anand, eternal, full of knowledge and blissful, giving of all happiness. So here, Vasudeva is narrating that he is the cause of all the luminaries and he is the cause of everything that pervades and he is the cause of him and all the other living entities. And Lord Kṛṣna is just keeping his head down, wondering as why my father is suddenly, calling me in this, because he doesn't want that awe and reverence relationship like we have at work. We don't want our family members to treat us like that. That's not a good relationship, if we experience that at home. Because what kind of relationship happens with our family members? It's very nicely, given by another example by Srila Prabhupada. This is an example of the British Prime Minister Gladstone. So once a delegate went to meet Gladstone in his office. And so the secretary asked him to just sit because Gladstone is busy. She said that he is very busy right now. So please wait for him and soon he will call. I have informed him. And he is waiting for a long time. Almost an hour has passed. So he becomes impatient. He goes and opens the door. What does he see? He sees Gladstone on his knees and on his arms, on the floor. So he's surprised. This is the Prime Minister of England. He's on his knees, on his arms, on the floor. And then a small boy, just a toddler, he's sitting on top of Gladstone, as if Gladstone is his horse. And he's saying, hut, hut, and, like making those sounds as if he's riding a horse. And Gladstone is very smilingly, making various sounds and, trying to walk like a horse as he's walking on the floor. So he's surprised. This, as a delegate, he's looking at this child and himself. So there's a gulf of difference in the capability of the two, personalities here. The child doesn't know anything about how great position his father or grandfather, in this case, Gladstone was his grandfather, he holds. He doesn't have to know how knowledgeable his grandfather is. He doesn't have to know how famous his grandfather is. He doesn't have to know any of those things. While the delegate knows this, that's why he has an awe and reverence, a respect-based, official business with Gladstone. While the child only knows that this is my grandpa. He loves me very much and I love him very much. And so we have this loving exchange when he can become my horse and I can ride him. Not just because the child is riding Gladstone, does that mean that Gladstone has suddenly fallen from his position? Of course not. It's a loving exchange. Gladstone is happy to become a horse for his grandson. Well, he would never become horse for the delegate. No matter how many degrees this delegate has, no matter how much famous he becomes and so many qualities he may acquire. That work relationship in Vaikuntha and the material world that is normally seen is not there at home when Lord is present in Vrindavan, when he is present in Mathura, when he is present in Dwarka. So here Lord is, allowing Vasudeva to glorify him. And then Lord, it's very interesting in the purpose, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Sridhar Swami, they reveal that Lord says that Eka, everything is one. Because he is saying that we are all one in quality and trying to indicate to him that you have been my eternal father in various incarnations. Every time that I have appeared, I have, allowed you to be my parents. So earlier as Kashyapa Muni and Aditi. So Aditi was Devakī, right? And Kashyapa Muni is Vasudeva. So they are, living entity can expand up to 9 times. So they are the expansion of the same living entity. One is Kashyapa and another one is Vasudeva. And Lord appeared as Vamandev, the 4th son, also known, his name was Upendra, the younger brother of Indra. So that is the mood where, Lord is revealing to him that we are all in the same quality. He is not revealing that we are different in quantity, but he wants his father to forget about all that stuff that he has heard. And so Vasudeva is very much appreciating, and he's getting this, like he's feeling that he's getting this blessing from Lord Kṛṣna. Yet to save Lord Kṛṣna, to kind of like, help Vasudeva forget about the supreme position of Lord Kṛṣna, rather treat him as his son, Mother Devakī, she comes to his rescue. How? She comes to Lord Kṛṣna and she's overwhelmed with emotions, thinking of her 6 sons, the Shadgarbhas. And she says that, Lord Kṛṣna and Balaram, I know that when you had gone to your studies at Sandipani Muni's ashram, and as Guru Dakshina, you retrieved his son back from the house of death, from Yamlok. You went to Samyamanapuri, where Yamraj resides. So from Samyamanapuri, you went to Yamraj and you were able to get your teacher's son back and deliver him. So there are 3 aspects that are common in this scenario. When she is asking that, can you also get my 6 sons, because I'm missing them, right? They were just newly born when they were killed by Kansa. First aspect is, this is a mother's heart. She understands that Lord Kṛṣna and Lord Balaram did this, but she is still considering them to be her sons and asking them, just like they did it for someone else, can they do it for her? Second great aspect is that Sandipani Muni didn't ask for his son to be retrieved. It was when Lord Kṛṣna and Lord Balaram asked, what should we give you in Guru Dakshina? Sandipani Muni, knowing that these are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he went back to his home and he talked with his wife. And it was a mother's heart that his wife told him, if Kṛṣna Balaram can retrieve their son. So it is mother's heart. So a mother may hold the hand of a child for a little while, but she holds the heart of her child forever. So here Mother Devakī is showing her motherly, emotions, that how giving mother is, how caring mother is, how tolerant mother is. So that's why it's also said that father is good as a spiritual master, but truly if we want to see the love of Kṛṣna, the love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we should observe a mother, how she takes care of her child. Because that is the closest example we have in this material world of love of a mother for her child. How carefully she takes care of her child, how compassionately, how delicately, how patiently, and how much tolerant she is when she is paying attention, cooking for her child, dressing her child, cleaning her child, and just making sure that the nourishment is there. She really tries her best. So remembering our mother means, again, we know how much dedicated they are and how much unconditional love is there in this exchange. Of course, we also hear that when the son grows up, the mother starts having expectation. So that is not, so again, that is because of the circumstances. Let's not put circumstances, just put like how the exchange is going on without external circumstances affecting the situation. Then this is the unconditional love, the closest reflection that comes to mind. And Srila Prabhupada showed this when he covered when this kind of examples when he was in a plane, he was going with other devotees. They were flying over to another city, and they had this poha, right, the puffed rice, prasadam. So as they opened it up for Srila Prabhupada, the whole, on a newspaper, they laid it down, and suddenly an air hostess came and she literally put her hand in that and she picked it up. That was Maha from Srila Prabhupada's, right in front of him. And she tasted it. She's like, oh, this is very nice, and she went. So Srila Prabhupada, he said that this is, very interesting that she felt so much enthusiastic to, someone else's lunchbox. This is like Srila Prabhupada is about to honor prasadam and she picks it up, the puffed rice from his, meal, from his prasadam plate. So he asked the devotees to ask if she can get some milk and some fruits for him. And so the devotees, his disciples, went and talked to this air hostess that if she could get her. She said yes. So for the economy class where they were sitting, this was not served. But she said that yes, let me see what I can do. And she went to the business class, first class section. And from there she got hot milk and nice fruits and nice foodstuff for Srila Prabhupada and the disciples. And they were very happy and very amazed that Srila Prabhupada could predict that she would do this. And Srila Prabhupada at that time revealed that women by nature are very caring. They are very loving. This is how they serve. So again, we have the constitutional position, the Swarup of our soul. Yet at the same time, various kind of bodies that we get, we also behave according to that body. A living entity in the body of a dog will behave like dog, cannot behave like a monkey or a man. Similarly, a living entity in the body of a man would behave much different than in a body of a mouse. So again, depending on the different kind of bodies, material energies influences so that one behaves because of that designation, the type of body one has received. So women by their very nature are very caring, very loving, very emotional, yes. And they are very caring. So such are, the very personalities. And that's why they are highly regarded, right? In India, we call all the rivers as our mothers because they take care. We call the earth as mothers. We call the Brahman is the wife of a Brahman, the wife of a guru, the wife of the king. All them are mothers. So in this mood as being expressed, so Mother Devakī is expressing. So at that time, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they say, oh, this is very nice. So they taking this instruction, they're taking this request. So Lord Kṛṣṇa, he fulfills all the desires of his devotees. And his mother is asking him this small thing, which is as difficult as getting the son of his spiritual master. Yet at the same time, he and Lord Sankarshan. So Lord Achyuta and Lord Sankarshan, they go to Sutala, where Lord Bali Maharaj, he is ruling. He is the ruling personality of Sutala. And as we heard in Vaman Dev's pastime, he went to Bali Maharaj, he got everything. And Bali Maharaj is glorified for the topmost devotional service, Atma Nivedanam, who surrendered everything. So when Bali Maharaj sees Lord Vasudeva and Lord Sankarshan coming to him, he immediately bows down, and he welcomes them and places them on a high seat on thrones. And he worships them. He washes their feet and sprinkles on his head as well as on the head of all his associates. So when Vamandev had appeared earlier, at the sacrificial arena to ask for the 3 steps of land, at that time Bali Maharaj could not do this, proper worship. He wanted, but in his heart he did. So Vamandev was able to reciprocate. But now when he is in this form, in his original form as Lord Kṛṣṇa and Lord Balaram, he is able to worship them. And so after worshipping them, he is glorifying. And now he is so much in love, with his emotions flowing, and all the ecstatic symptoms are visible. His voice is faltering, his tears are, like flowing like torrential rain. His whole face is wet because of the tears that are coming out, because of love and affection, because of the pleasure he is feeling by seeing Lord Kṛṣṇa. And the hair is standing on their ends. So in this manner, and then he starts asking. So again, this is sometime it happens. And then he really goes to the other extreme. So he's a grahastha, right? He has a wife, he has children and so forth. Yet at the same time, he goes to the other end saying that, oh Lordship, please bless me that I become, your pure devotee, and I give up the attachment from my house and I start wandering all over the places alone in the jungle and everywhere. And then suddenly he realizes that could be just too extreme because Lord's material energy is very powerful. He has seen the influence of material energy previously. So he says, yet at the same time, if you are a little more merciful, please give me the association of other pure devotees. So this is where he is also glorifying the devotee association. And then suddenly he realizes that I'm a grahastha and I'm asking for such a extreme situation, and that is such a heavy shock for his wife and his family members. So he says, at that time, remembering that, he says, oh Lord, please give us your mercy, give us your blessing, and how can I serve you? So he comes to the present point, because Lord had come to him, so there must be a business Lord wants to take care of. So at that time he comes to this point that, how can I serve you? How can I satisfy you? So that's another mood. A devotee doesn't want Lord to provide him things, rather devotee wants to serve God. So when Lord Kṛṣṇa comes, he wants to reciprocate with the devotee, while the devotee wants to serve God. He is the order supplier of Lord Kṛṣṇa And that is the mode Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami and all the other 6 Goswamis at Vrindavan, they showed by their daily activities that they want to serve Krishna, not want to get service from Krishna. We want to satisfy Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. So that is the mood of a devotee, to constantly satisfy. So yes, Lord fulfills all desires of the devotee, but all desires a devotee has is to serve Lord, is to make Lord happy. Because when Lord is happy, then everyone is happy. So he is looking for welfare of all humanity, all living entities, not just humanity, all living entities. So that is the mood of a devotee. So when Lord Krishna, he looks at Bali Maharaj, he calls out about the 6 sons of Devakī who were actually on his planet. And so he says that, and then Acharya is in the purport, and we also covered with the Sanipani Muni's son scenario in that past time, that these 6 sons who were born of Devakī, the first 6 sons, the first one was Kirtiman and others, they were killed by Kṛṣṇa. And this happened because of a curse that was given to the Shadgarbhas by Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh, they were the 2 sons of Kashyapa Muni and Diti. Diti's sons are called Daityas. That's why Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh are called Daityas. Hiranyaksh had a son by the name Kalnemi. And Kalnemi had 6 sons, who were the 6 Shadgarbhas. Now it is very interesting that actually they were supposed to be the sons of Hiranyakashipu. Yogamaya takes it from Hiranyakashipu and also gives this another demon, Kalnemi, to have them as his sons. And why were they born as sons of a demon? There is also a very nice story where once it just so happened that Lord Brahma, he fell down. So these Shadgarbhas, seeing him getting deviated from his position, they laughed. And when they laughed, Lord Brahma cursed them, that you are laughing like a demon, you are not even considerate as what is the situation. And this is where we also learn that if somebody makes a mistake, somebody is defeated, being influenced by Mahamaya, by material energy, and we should not immediately condemn that, understanding how powerful material energy is. So they got cursed, so they were born first as sons of Hiranyakashipu, then they were born as sons. So Yogamaya then took from him and made them the sons of Kalnemi. So that's given in the Shastras, also in the purport it's been described. And these 6 sons of Kalnemi, they were afraid that the demigods will kill them, because when Hiranyakashipu had gone for meditation, they had attacked on his kingdom. So they went on meditation, and then they finally got the boon from Lord Brahma that none of the human beings, demigods and all of them, none of the living entities in this universe will kill them, provided they don't have this tendency of fighting or being, envious of anyone. And so when Hiranyakashipu came to know, after Hiranyaksh was killed, he came to know that these 6 sons of Kalnemi have done this. He cursed them that you will be killed by your own father Kalnemi in your next birth. So yes, in this birth, because of that boon, he cannot kill you, but in the next birth, he will be the one who will kill you. So Kalnemi was born as Kṛṣṇa, and these Shadgarbhas, they were born as the 6 sons of Devakī. And so Kṛṣṇa killed them. So now Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram, they bring all these 6 sons, and with the influence of Yogamaya, they turn them into small babies. So as Devakī, she sees her 6 sons, immediately her motherly love, it starts pouring out and the milk starts flowing. And at that time, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Sridhar Swami, they give 2 different evidences. One evidence is that Lord, when they mother Devakī, she feeds them her milk. It is like it's a remnant of Lord Krishna, because he had already tasted the milk first. So now there is this reference given that when Lord Vishnu appeared in the jail, Lord appeared in his 4-arm Vishnu Murti form, and he said as the 8th son of Devakī and Vasudeva, and then he turned himself into a small baby. Mother Devakī, thinking that the baby can get hungry on this long journey that Vasudeva has to take to go to Gokul, to exchange her son, Lord Krishna, with the daughter of Yashoda Mai. So that he doesn't feel hungry, she immediately got influenced by Yogamaya, forget that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and fed her milk. So he was the first one who tasted her milk. So that's why it's also reminiscent that these Shadgarbhas taste. And being touched by Lord Krishna, they had purified, in their existence. Another instance that's given, evidence is given, is as soon as these 6 sons were seen by Devakī, she was about to feed them milk, yet at the same time Lord Krishna took a baby form. He said, I'm the youngest, so I have the first right. And so he immediately, hold on to her and he took the milk. So after that they got the milk. So that's also a remnant, right? Prasad. So it is Maha. And afterwards, to her amazement, these personalities, when touched by Lord Krishna, they came in their original form as the, residents of the heavenly planets. And so they went back as the sages they were. They were sons of Marichi. Marichi is born of the mind of Lord Brahma. So these Shadgarbhas are also known as the 6 anarthas. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsara. Right? Lust, anger, greed, envy, madness and illusion. So they went back, and Mother Devakī is very much satisfied. Yet at the same time, she's all of a sudden shocked to see that her sons suddenly became big personalities, and then they went back as sages to Brahmalok. Yet at the same time, she understood that this is the Yogamaya potency, the inconceivable potency of Lord Shri Krishna. And at the end, Shukdev Goswami is revealing that whoever hears this will be blessed with the topmost, meditation of being, endowed with this ability, and the Lord's name, form, activities, glories will become the ornament of such a devotee's ears. So this is where, this chapter ends. Hare Krishna. And let's do Nrsimha-Devati. Please join us. So again, here we learn that Lord, when he is having this exchange with his devotees, is filled with love, filled with compassion, and he fulfills all desires of his devotees. And his devotees have the only one desire, just to satisfy Lord Krishna. So such desire will make us blissful, spiritualize our very life. Hare Krishna. की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव गुरु वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।